Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky. Senator Paul, good to see you this morning. You offered a bill last month, co-authored with Mark Sanford in the House, called the Obamacare Replacement Act. Since you introduced the bill, how much support have you seen for it?
You know, I think conservatives are coalescing around it, and I think there's not one idea in the bill. If you polled those ideas with the House Republicans or with the Senate Republicans, I think you'd find very little objection to any idea that I have in my bill. In fact, at least half of the ideas in the bill came from legislation from Congressman Tom Price. So I think it actually has the ability to become the consensus bill. But, you know, people often call this a sausage-making factory. We got to start making some sausage. And so we've put this forward, and we're saying these are ideas that most people have agreed to. Tell us what you don't like, tell us what you do like, but let's repeal the whole thing. We won the election in 2010, 2014, and then the White House in 2016 on the platform of complete repeal. We've already voted for complete repeal last year. Let's do it again. Complete repeal, but let's replace it with something that will help the people who still need help.
So, Senator, does your bill have pre-existing conditions covered as a federal guarantee?
What it does is for 2 years you can sign up whether you've got a pre-existing condition or not. After that, if you want to have insurance, you got to keep it. And the reason you do that is that the insurance model doesn't work if you tell people, and this was the fatal flaw of Obamacare, if you can get insurance after you're sick, you will, and then you won't get it when you're healthy, and then the model fails and you get adverse selection. And insurance companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina lost $400 million in the individual market, and that will continue and get worse when the individual mandate's gone if you say people can still get insurance after they're sick. So you have to fix that. Doesn't sound, nobody's real excited, oh my goodness, we're taking away something, but the insurance model does not work as long as that's in the model. We have to be honest with people.
Senator Paul, hey, it's Robert Draper at the New York Times Magazine. My understanding is that part of your proposal is going to be paid for by cutting government spending. Are you going to be able to get Democrats on board with that? Anybody in the Senate?
Well, let's be clear, there is no cost to my proposal unless you call reducing taxes a cost. So there is no expenditure from the federal government. It's not a federal government program, but we do let people keep more of their own money through tax deductions to save into their health savings accounts. If you call that a cost, yes, conservatives are willing to cut spending. Unfortunately, the talk in Washington usually is if you cut someone's taxes, you got to raise somebody else's taxes. We don't accept that. We think if you cut taxes, make government smaller, send power and authority back to the states and to the people, but we're for smaller government. That's what it means to be a conservative.
Senator, where do you stand on the president's relationship with Russia and everything that has happened with the National Security Advisor? Are you on the side of we should focus on the leaks, or we should take a closer look into inappropriate ties with Russia between the president and members of his administration?
Well, I think that law enforcement should and is looking at this, and they should determine if any laws have been broken. But before anybody jumps any further into any kind of political investigation, I think really we ought to find out, was a law broken? And in fact, there needs to be more discussion of what law was broken, if a law was broken. But I will say that
you're talking about with General Flynn talking to the Russian ambassador, right? Right, exactly.
But
I agree. We've sort of jumped past that, haven't we? Where you have media outlets talking about potential law broken, and then legal experts saying, well, but nobody's ever been persecuted under the Logan Act.
So that would move on.
That would just be a good place to start, like the senator's saying.
There were two great articles this week, and I know you guys review a lot of written journalism. Eli Lake had a great article, and so did John Poteritz, talking about what kind of world it would be if secret intelligence agencies record our phone calls and then release them to the media. That is not just a leak. We're not talking about you get juicy gossip on whether the president wears a bathrobe or not. We're talking about private information between high-ranking government officials and high-ranking foreign government officials. If we're going to release that to the press, that is very, very worrisome. And in the process of that, we're going to destroy people who are critics of the intelligence community. Boy, that really, really alarms me. So that's not just a partisan shifting of blame. This is very, very concerning for a free society.
All right, Senator Rand Paul, thank you so much for being with us.
Robert Draper, your piece
we greatly
is a cover
appreciate it.
story.